Uppy, uppy, uppy. It's One Funny Morning. I'm Dana Blizzard, and it's too early in the morning. This is the dumbest show in the whole world.
From Monday
to Friday. Sometimes on Saturdays.
Why would you say that in front of all these people?
Dean stinks.
You never know what's gonna happen.
That's your Dateline voice?
I don't know.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't.
It's not a chicken leg. This is a chicken leg.
Look at that manhole cover on my face.
Not a bad rendition of me. Hold on.
It's such a small town. So if you're walking, people just be like, "Do you want to ride?" It's like they don't need Uber. They just have.
What?
They just pull over. They give you a honk, and they're like, "We know your brother. We'll give you a ride to school or whatever."
That's called
our small
murder
town.
in New Jersey.
What's outside your Puerto Rico?
That's Stella! Yeah!
Good morning, OFM family from rainy Kentucky, where milk is actually the state official drink. You would have thought bourbon, but it's actually milk. And I thought I'll show you a little glimpse from our neighbors. They're eating this morning. Got the little cows and the mamas. Oh, and they're running. All right, I hope everybody has a great day.
Good morning. Good morning. What a beautiful view this morning from Kentucky. And yes, I did think that the official drink was bourbon. So that's weird to see cows and talk about milk. So good morning, everybody. We're back in the kitchen. We got to open up all of our mail to get our tree back up and running. So it's been a bit since we've been here. So thank you all for putting up for all of our travels. I rolled into the kitchen today, kind of on time, so that's lovely. Hopefully everybody is having a great Tuesday. I know Monday was ugly over here, so hopefully your ugly Monday has turned into a lovely Tuesday morning. Good morning, Missy. I heard Missy is serving her husband disgusting, what were they, not milkshakes, some kind. So what you said to Jeremy, he has to drink one milkshake a day, and he says that they all taste like pee. So that's wonderful. I'm sure he's going to lose a lot of weight. I don't know why you're doing it, but I'd like to hear more about it. If you're opening your mail, you will definitely be better today. Oh, maybe we should open the mail. I made you something out of clay, but I didn't think about shipping it, so I got a fandangle something. I've smoothies, healthy smoothies. I don't think he's going to eat them, but good luck to you, Missy. So yesterday, Dean and Jacqueline helped me down the shore. She's testing the for better or for worse, Val. She is. I don't know. Jeremy's face was so funny when he was talking about it. Good morning, Jasper, on the TikTok. Good morning, TikTok. How is everybody? Yeah. Is it 10 bags of Chips Ahoy? Colby or Brooke ate a whole bag of Chips Ahoy yesterday, so I'm not really sure what's happening. But anyway, so listen, we are full of guests this week on the morning show. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? Well, Michelle, sexy producer Michelle, is always finding some fun people for us to chat with. So that Savage Brooke said that she did. I know we should just call her Savage Brooke from now on because Brooke doesn't really care. But yesterday, Dean and Jacqueline and I were doing all the finishing touches at the shore. So yeah, full of guests. So we have a great guest today. Tomorrow, we have 2 guests on the morning show who you're going to love. Getting x-rays this morning to see how the leg is healing. Wow. I don't need an x-ray. I can tell you that my leg is stupid. I know. She is a grown-ass woman. So listen, so I know that we have lots of lovely people here. I would say majority women, which we love. We love when the fellas stop by. That's for you, Jasper. And one of the things as I kind of move through move through putting my life back together. So if you're new here, you may know that I have 3 kids, 3 dogs, an ex-husband, a mom, sisters, yada, yada. But went through a divorce probably almost 2 years ago. And always trying to figure out what life is like on the other side. I know there are some people who have gone through the divorce process. I know that there are some people who are, happily married. We love that. But one of the things, and I guess it's one of the first things you think about if you think about divorcing or aging, or maybe just, aging on your own. Maybe you were never divorced. You were happily single most of your life. Whatever your case is, I think that there's always some nervousness. I know there was for me, because this was the first time I was going to be kind of living on my own financially and trying to figure all the things out. And so I was trying to, figure out my life, where I'm going to live, all of the stuff. And I got to like a even place, and I wasn't crying as much until I broke my leg or got kidney stones. Other than that, though, like I had stopped crying. But then I got to a place where, things have settled and I feel okay. But I think I got to the point where I was like, okay, I have a place to live, I have a car, can't drive it because I only got one leg sometimes. But I never did the part where like, I don't have a will. We split the pension up, but it just sits there because I don't really know what you're supposed to do with it. Or my mom is getting older and I'm the closest one here. And what happens when she does get older? So just a lot of things. And I think I did all the things that you're supposed to do. Like I put the checking account in my name and I moved the electric into my name. And did you guys know when you put stuff in your name, you have to pay it? What? So I did all that and still trying to figure out the paying of it part. But recently, I was lucky enough to get asked to do some stand-up. You're like, Dina, where are you going with this whole conversation? So I do stand-up in lots of different places. I would love to say some of them dirty, and some of them have been dirty. There's me. So there's me performing for a great company called Cap Wealth. They're here in my town, and they said an event that was all about, celebrating women. And they're like, we think you'd be great for this event. We'd love for you to come. And I was like, great. And I sat down with Michelle and Tara, who work there, and they were like, this is our event. It's really about celebrating all of the women in Michelle's own life and the people that she's worked with and known personally. And so part of it was to, talk about Cap Wealth and the services that they offer in terms of financial support, but then to also give people a good laugh. That was my part. And so as soon as I met these ladies, I was like, these are my people. I love them. And I went to the event, and it was so lovely because Michelle, who is one of the partners there, just speaks so eloquently about her own personal journey and how that has really helped her to understand the people that she works with and her clients. And it was so female centric, which is what we are here. Sorry to the fellows that are here because we love you too. All this to say that when we sat down and chatted, I said, listen, I need to sit down with somebody. I don't have a will. I don't have a plan for if I pass. I don't know how I'm going to handle kind of still being in the part where I'm raising kids and, trying to plan for my mom. And so I thought it would be great if we could bring in some people who know a lot more than we do to talk about some of these financial things that come up as we put our big girl pants on and move through life. And so it is my pleasure. I'm going to stop talking now and introduce you to a good friend of mine now. We're going to call her Finance Michelle. She is a partner at Cap Wealth. She's super smart, knows everything about money, and she's going to help us. So welcome, Michelle. Come on over. Oh, there she is. All right, so there's Michelle. You got to keep scooching. Okay. Keep scooch. Yeah. So we're gonna kind of be like on top of each other.
Okay.
Look, why do I look so big compared to you?
I haven't had anyone on top of me at one time.
So this is exciting.
Yes, this is exciting. Sorry, I'll keep it clean.
So no, we don't want that.
Okay.
Just so you know, we like to say that's what she said as many times as possible.
Oh,
especially when it's like some type of sexual innuendo. That's when it's best, Michelle.
Amazing.
So Finance Michelle is in the kitchen. So tell everybody a little bit about you and kind of your background so that they know where you're coming from, Michelle.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take off my reader.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
So my background. I'll keep it.
Where should we start? Yeah. Leave
right?
the juicy parts for later.
So in my day job, we'll go with the day job.
Okay.
So my day job is I am a financial planner. I have CRPC, which is boring, Chartered Retirement Planning. And then the most exciting part is CDFA, which is Certified Divorced Financial Analyst. I know.
Certified Divorced Financial. So like you specialize specifically in divorce?
Planning for the financial impact of divorce. So,
really?
Yes.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I know. And the irony in that is I obtained that in, I'd say 2013. And I really wanted to get some street cred. So I was like, I'm just going to get divorced too.
I feel like I don't really get it, like deep down.
So after 17 years, I was like, oh, this is why when I'm sitting and planning with people, they're so like distraught and lost and what's next. And so anyway.
Michelle's the real deal is what she's trying to tell you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you are with what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yes.
So I have been doing this for longer than the math isn't mathing really because I don't feel as old as I've been doing it.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel
like
you.
a rookie, but really it's been 20 years, I guess. So it's been a little bit, but I enjoy it. I was raised by a single mother and an auntie, as the old school Italians, step in and help everybody. And I saw my father passed away when I was little. So the reason why that I got into it is because I saw my mom not plan because she couldn't. She was, 23 maybe when my father passed away.
What?
And
your mom was 23?
Yeah, she was 23. Mm-hmm.
Did she ever remarry? Boyfriends? Lovers?
Yes, let's romanticize it. Because as a teenager, my mom dating was such an ick that we'll just call it lovers because now it seems more.
Yeah.
No one wants to, this. No one wants to know that their mom has a boyfriend. So anyway, hope she's not watching. Love you, Mom. I wish you would take a lover now, though. My life would be easier.
That would be so nice. Does your mom? How old's your mom?
She's young. She was a teen. She was a teen mom before it was cool.
Wow.
Before it was on MTV.
Right.
She just turned 65 last year.
Okay.
So
and is she on the apps?
No.
Oh, we gotta get her on the apps.
No.
So my mom has a honey.
Lady Di on the apps?
Well, no, but she has a honey door.
What is that?
Do you know what a honey door is?
No.
That's when you let your mom go to your shore house with her friends. And then she invites all her friends down. And then you call her on the phone on your morning show and you say, how you doing? And then they're all pretending like they're just chopping vegetables. And then you hear a man in the background. And then you go, is there a man at my house? And she says, no, there's not. But you can hear a man. So then she says no. And then you go on your Ring doorbell and you check the front door. No man came through, Michelle. So I'm thinking, how's she getting these men in the house?
You have a man living in your attic?
Maybe. I would love that. I would be like, can you come down and fix something? No, I think she's bringing them in the back door. She got a honey door where she brings all the honeys in.
Oh.
Yeah, your mom might have a honey door.
I need a honey door.
We all need a honey door.
My mom might. Maybe that's why she never answers my texts.
There, she's bringing in the honey doors.
Maybe. Interesting. I don't even know what my mom's type would be, but I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, nobody knows what their type is. That was the one thing that people would say to me after my divorce. They were like, "So what's your type?" I'm like, "I have no idea.
Right?
I don't know. What do you want at 20 and what you want at 50? Ugh.
Not the same thing.
You're like
doesn't fit the same after a few kids.
Doesn't
like
it? Doesn't. Yeah.
Weird. It sits at a certain area. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, nothing. All the lights should be out. Yeah, all that stuff. Michelle.
Lights on, lights off. Shave, no shave. So much to learn.
I told you guys, Michelle fits right in here. Okay, so let's go back to your resume. So you have a lot of letters after your name.
I do.
and you're a finance person. Let me ask you this. If someone's divorcing me, that can't be that scary because I'll be like, do we even have money? But divorcing you must be like, do you ever hear like people are like, oh, my husband's a lawyer. What kind of lawyer? He's a divorce lawyer. Oh, you can never divorce him. Like, that's got to be scary, Michelle, because you know things.
I do know things, but sometimes the reason that you get divorced is because other people think they know everything.
Ooh, see how she did that?
It doesn't matter what you know.
See how she did? She's smooth.
Some always know more,
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. So Tanya said, I do have a pension, but no money in the bank.
Yeah.
Is that what we're supposed to do?
Well, it's now, later, much later, we think about like when we think about buckets of money, right? So our now bucket is usually kind of empty.
Tiny.
Because we get kids and people
and they take it
dipping into it.
Okay. What's later?
And then later is kind of in between, right? So it's like for the savings for the rainy day or the sunny day.
Oh, like when your air conditioner goes or something?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to call a handyman over to.
And they break your leg?
Yes.
Cool.
Correct. And then there's the much later. So the pension would be in the much later. And the issue there is you can't get to it now, right? So you have to wait. And what's the time? When should you take it? How much are you going to get? How long will you live?
Yes.
Right? What do you want your lifestyle to be? Who's going to be in your lifestyle? Who are you going to be taking care of?
So speaking of that, because we decided, so Michelle's going to be with us over the course of 5 weeks. So we're calling this Tip Tuesday. So we'll be talking about different things in finance. So today we thought one of the things I wanted to ask you first, because I've never worked with a financial planner, because why, right? Like, I feel like, do you see in relationships that like in relationships in general, like there's in couples, that one person is completely oblivious and one person's like, all right, this is what we're doing. Is that usually?
I do. And no shade, but it's usually the men who are completely oblivious about most things. Kidding. No, I feel like people take on roles in relationships, right?
Yeah.
So there's people who are, I'm going to be the coordinator of kids' activities and I'm going to get to know the schedules. And then there's people who are, I'm going to coordinate the savings and the fixing of the house or whatever that is, right? So that happens a lot. And then what we see, whether it's with all people in transition, not just women, and I will tell you, men actually suffer, in my experience, terribly when they lose their wife, like widowers, because they don't realize, one, how much their wife did, and two, I think women, maybe it's genetic, it's Mother Nature's cruel trick. We adjust into roles a little bit easier, maybe we're different multitaskers, but I feel that women pick up certain things. Men, even the most amazing men that I've had the privilege of having as clients and work with that have taken care of everything financially, when they lose a spouse, they end up struggling with, how do I pick out paint color? I don't know how to cook a meal. Who does the laundry? So, and then on the other side of that, for many women, because we're busy going in so many other directions, raising the kids, doing other things, we then suddenly become, okay, I got to pay attention, like you said, to everything. Got to pay the bills, got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah.
And then if the husband, for whatever reason, was the person who was focusing on the retirement, and oftentimes because we take gaps for raising children and, we put our careers aside to support our family and our husband, we may not have had an opportunity to have a pension. We may not have an opportunity to have a savings or a 401k. So then all of a sudden here we are, wake up one day, right? Like,
what do we do now? So, it was kind of like the moons aligned, like Michelle and Tara reached out to ask me to do this event. And it was around the same time. And I don't know if you find this too, but like, I feel like I did all the stuff I was supposed to do, like get all the bank accounts set up, do this. But I don't know, the conversation about getting a will or the conversation to be like, well, I have this money in the pension. Like, do you find that a lot of people just put off these conversations? And why is that a horrible idea? Because I know it's horrible. And I know that something tragic will happen. And I'll be like, why do people avoid it, you think?
I think who wants to talk about their own mortality, first of all, right? So it's one thing is you just went through a grief, whatever it is, whether it's losing a spouse for, a death, or whether it's for a divorce or anything. You don't want to kind of revisit that. You come out of it, right? And you're like, oh.
Just in survival mode.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then it's also when I think younger generations, you're so invincible that you're like, I don't need a will, or I don't need this.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like you said, something happens and you're like, shoulda, woulda, coulda with that.
Yeah.
I think also it's one of those things that for a lot of people, depending on what phase of your life you're in, sometimes I have clients who have maybe minor children. Maybe they are going through that. And it's not just single people, it's coupled people as well. Maybe they can't agree on like who would take care of the kids if something happened to me. I hate your mom. Your sister is a pain in the butt, all this other stuff.
So even people who are together are not making these plans because they can't agree.
Correct. And I don't also think it's personal finance across the board for planning is not something that is taught in schools, right? It's not something that we grew up at least learning.
No.
I do have a 16-year-old daughter who has a personal finance class at school. And I was like, you're taking that, right? Because it doesn't matter what I do for a living. She doesn't listen to me.
Yeah, of course. You know nothing.
So, but it's not something that we're taught. So I don't think we don't adapt and embrace it as easily.
Yeah.
And then we just don't want, and it's an easy thing to push off because it's in the much later bucket, right? We're like, I'll get to that when I'm about to die.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it was so funny. I was fixing the shore house and I needed a plumber. This guy, Al the plumber, showed up. It was adorable. He's 73. His wife passed away 4 years ago and she taught him how to cook before she passed. I mean, that was something that somebody said. She was like, you're going to learn how to cook and take care of yourself. And he's adorable. And we all fell in love with him. I'm sure we'll see him in the next few weeks. Before we get into today's topic, which is the sandwich generation and some of the things to consider during that time, can you just kind of talk everybody through because we had our first meeting and actually it was myself and Michelle and her team and my mom. And like this process of financial planning, I did not expect it. Well, we just sat there and talked for probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like, why is that such an important part of how you start working with somebody?
I think it's important because when you're working with any professional, especially if it's something where you go in and you feel like the person sitting across from you or the people sitting across from you have a different realm of experience than you, one, it can be intimidating because many times people will come in and say, my sister, my mom, my aunt, my dad told me I need to come and talk to you, but I don't really know why. Well, they identified something in a conversation that was like, hey, you need a financial planner. But having not worked with one before, it's hard to figure out what you're there for.
And
right?
do you think, it's a lot to open your books up to somebody and not feel like, oh, well, if you know everything, you're going to take care of it. I feel like there are people who are in relationships for a long period of time that still haven't opened their books up.
So this is so interesting. Yes. In relationships. And I will even say I've seen it in female friendships because the interesting thing is people will say, oh, you this one, that's your friend. Are they your client? No, I'm like, no, money is such a personal thing. They don't want it. We will talk about parts of our bodies,
parts of
things that have shifted.
But no, not because if you were my bestie that I grew up with, I'd be like, Michelle, here's everything. Just fix it.
So but that's because you're more open, right?
Right.
But some people, a lot of people, and I think it's perfectly normal, are more, reserved about that. And unfortunately, and we're working, Tara and I working hard to change this, but women, in my experience in this business, are uniquely disempowered around money. It's just, we are empowered around so many other things, but because of I think just we're running in so many different directions, we feel disempowered around it. We've not around, I think it's shifting, not around always the ability to make income, but I think confidence in the financial decisions.
I have this pension.
Right.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it.
Right.
So I just ignore it, Michelle, which is the easiest thing I could possibly do.
Yeah.
But not
always the best.
Not
right?
the best.
Because if you don't plan, how do you get to where you want to be?
Yeah.
And then also you get to a point where you want to be more intentional with your life and your decisions. Right?
Yeah. For sure.
what do you want your life to look like, right? I have a coach, and she asks me that all the time, and I'm like, that's a rude question.
You're rude, even though I'm asking you to be here and help
when you
me.
make me reflect and remind me that like I'm actually in control of my own life.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it.
So a lot of you are saying lots of words in the chat, and we're going to be talking about a lot of them. Like I said, this is going to be kind of 5 weeks of different tips for me. I know a lot of people have mentioned trust, which we had a lot of conversations about. We're also going to be talking about that long-term planning, the importance of those pensions. We'll be talking about college planning, special needs planning, as well as some of the things we've talked about. If there are things that you'd like us to touch on, you can always reach out to, I guess, send emails to customer service, and Wendy can get them to us. But there's lots of different things that we'll be discussing, as well as elderly planning, like with my mom and so on and so forth. So my soon-to-be ex had a 401k, but he will own, because we will only be married 3 years, I have no rights to it, any of it in our divorce. Is that true?
It depends on the state that you're in. And so every state is different. So in New Jersey, it would be disclaimer. I don't give legal advice or tax advice.
Okay.
All right. In my experience.
Okay.
If you were married, you potentially have rights to it from the time that, so let's say he had it before you were married. Then if he earned it before that, you would only be entitled to what was earned after you were married. So
even if you were married for like 20 years?
It depends. So if there was, this happens a lot with military pensions, federal pensions. So if let's say I find a sugar daddy. Right?
Love sugar daddy, honey for your honey door.
Sugar daddy for my honey door.
Mm-hmm.
So many things to think about later. So let's say he had a pension from pre
you,
as if there was a life before.
Oh, duh.
So I may likely not be entitled to that because it was accumulated prior, unless he's getting pension payments that go into our joint bank account and it was commingled assets, but only the monies that were paid out. So there's a lot of little.
I love all the words that she says. I feel like you should be able to be hired just to be somebody's girlfriend, so that when they're fighting with their ex, they can just be like, Michelle, what do I say? Okay, you know what? I will be entitled to it, because we don't know. Mm-hmm.
Right.
My husband passed away. I am in debt, please free. I am debt, please free. Madeline, you have to write that again, because I don't understand. Does your sugar daddy have a brother? That's all Susie heard. She was like, this sugar daddy that you're talking to, does he have a brother? Oh. All right, so let's talk about, you showed up just in time. Sugar daddies and honey doors, Jeremy. It's perfect. So today we were going to talk a little bit more specifically about the sandwich generation. I know that my cousin Andy is here on TikTok, but so many of us, so I'm 51, but so many of us, like I'm at the tail end of getting the last two out of college, but my mom is getting older. So we have 7 tips or 7 things, right, that people will face in the sandwich generation. But before we get to it, I wanted to ask you, what do you think that these 7 kind of like pain points, right? You would say would be in the sandwich generation. I didn't look at them, so I'm going to guess as well. But it has to be financial. Are they all like just financial?
No, I'm put my readers on, so I can.
All right, put your readers, but don't tell us what they are. So obviously finance would be one. Time would be the other, because you're running over here, now you're running over there, and then, oh, right, you have a job and your leg is broken. I can get real specific. And you have kidney stones. Those are probably not on the general list.
Tell us more.
What else is wrong? I got a UTI a couple weeks ago. Just
cut myself.
Living arrangement.
Nicked myself shaving in the ankle. Still bleeding 3 days later.
There's a Band-Aid. It's not going to look great for the summer. Living arrangements. Lots of people are doing like commingling. Lots of generations is a big one. Care decisions, healthcare planning. I don't know. Maybe that comes under just our general elder care. Yeah, care for planning for long-term care.
Yeah, you guys are hitting on a lot of them. So before we go into the 7, I just want to, for anyone that is maybe these people are on TikTok, not Facebook, listening on TikTok, not Facebook. But for anyone who doesn't know what the sandwich generation is or what we're referring to, it is, let's see. Oh, okay. This is the best way to put it. It is, so anyone out there that has like disposable income, flat stomach, and time, you don't know what this is. Right? You haven't experienced
this show is not for you.
Right. But yeah, right. Scroll, keep scrolling. But if you don't have a flat stomach, you have no time and no disposable income. We're here for you. Yeah. So it's when two generations of your family bother you at the same time, essentially, right? So it's the kids and the mom, and it's like, or maybe it's the mom and the dad, but you suddenly become sandwiched, right? It's hashtag shiz they don't tell you at your baby shower, right? Things that are coming for you later in life. And then all of a sudden, here you are, and you got like fully into character for this. You were like, you know what? I'm going to break my leg so that I can show you guys
how bad it is,
how hard it is.
Just like you and your divorce. You're like, you know what? In order for me to be a good divorce financial planner, I should go through it.
Right.
And I was like, in order for me to put myself in the worst possible scenario,
the tightest sandwich possible,
let me have all these kids, be in charge of them, then be in charge of mom, and then break my leg in the middle of it.
Right. And then, I think you're not supposed to fight with your mom when you're in the sandwich generation.
Michelle, there's a lot of what shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
I fight with my mom every day. So if she's watching this, now
we love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom, and I love when you watch my dogs and my kids.
Aww, I love that you said dogs first.
Well,
someone
said they had a trust for their horse, and I was like, okay, yes, I'm here for that.
What does that mean?
So part of the planning that they did was they probably put money away to make sure their horses were taken care of in their estate plan. Because what happens to your pet? People forget to address that. They forget to address their pets in their estate planning.
Yeah, I didn't think who's going to take Booby and Lulu. God forbid if Colby's still alive and I'm dead. I'm just saying, I just want to put this out there. If I die and Colby's still alive, I will be so mad. That one's Colby. He's like 110.
I saw the gray.
He's going to outlive me, and I will be so pissed. I'll be like, just put me on life support. He can't outlive me.
He can't, and he can't even fit in your scooter basket. So that's
I know. Pandemic, my daughter was getting married, and my mom was diagnosed with dementia. Oh, yeah, it was a poop sandwich.
Yeah. So one of my girlfriends last year, and the interesting thing is, I think it used to be something that when I was younger, I would see it, dealing with clients. And now I'm starting to see my girlfriends going through it. Yeah. One of my girlfriends recently lost her mother from brain cancer, and her children are my children's age. So, none of them have graduated high school yet. So they're in that spot where it's like, I'm running here. They're not quite driving yet, which is a really annoying period.
Yeah. So they can talk back, but they can't drive themselves anywhere.
And they want to go places at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I'm in my third stage of REM. What are you saying right now? Right? Like, no. But I have to pick you up? Oh, okay.
No. Now, somebody said, my vet said that some people put in their wills that they have their pets euthanized so they can be together. I don't like that. Don't put that in your plan.
No.
I have designated cat keepers. Somebody said earlier that they wrote their horses into their will.
Oh, yeah. And I love that. And horse is a very expensive animal to keep. So I appreciate that someone would do that, because other people, like if you inherited a horse right now from someone,
it would just be here in the yard.
Right.
We would wave to it.
Right. It would be in here.
I mean, you would just have a horse. I would just keep it in the yard.
Yeah.
Can you keep a horse in the yard?
You can, but I don't know if your neighbors might not.
I think I have a problem with dog poop in the yard.
Right.
Who's cleaning that?
Is there a service for that?
I don't know.
You could fertilize.
What if you are only part-time employee and your husband is the main supporter, but your state doesn't have alimony? Are you just out of luck?
Well, that's a great question. So
wait, there are states that don't have alimony?
There are states that have different alimony rules. Yes. So New Jersey used to be lifetime, and they changed it. So depending on the number of years that you were married.
Wow. So, isn't it like one year of alimony for every 3 you were married? That's what I read.
It's yes, now it is similar. And then married, and I think I was just working on a case recently in Florida, and it was you have to marry for a certain amount of time. So it's not always, as cut and dry. But remember also, as you know, in divorce you can negotiate for whatever the parties are willing to negotiate if you're not going through, contentious. But there are times where people get divorced and they don't have access to alimony. They don't have income and they don't have savings.
Are you going to turn that off?
Because they've kind of worked part-time.
Just throw that in the trash, Tara. Everybody, this is Tara.
Wait, your vacuum? You want to?
Yeah.
You want to throw the vacuum?
You know
in the
what?
trash?
It just beeps, Michelle. It never actually
But it
cleans
doesn't
anything.
vacuum?
No.
It's moving.
Oh, it's
Tara fixed it.
it's cleaning now. Just so you guys know, you might not be able to see it, but she just called it out, and it was like, "I'm going, girl."
I just want to see Tara running after it in the back. Oh, that's so funny.
It stopped.
All right, let's go back. We missed it. My sister-in-law has a macaw in her will. Those birds live to 90 years or something crazy like that.
Who's inheriting that?
I don't know. I went through a sandwich too. Separation, young kids, and elder care. It was awful.
Yeah.
Texas, I don't think provides alimony. Case in Florida, she does. So she does travel for work with people in other states. Yeah.
I do.
So,
yes.
So do you just do that remotely, or are you
both? So
Wow.
I just came back from seeing a client there. We have clients all over because people retire, and then at post-pandemic, people are like, "Why am I working here? I just need to be near an airport. Why am I working here?"
Yeah.
So yes, we do. We're licensed in almost every state. So.
Wow. Florida has alimony unless you have a stupid lawyer who didn't ask for it when they were supposed to. I'm not going to
make any comment.
Yeah. That's just Anita talking
on the stupid lawyer.
Maybe
thing.
Anita that came from down in here from Anita. So yeah.
I felt that.
I did. We all felt that. My husband told me he would quit his job before he pays me a dime of maintenance. I'm trying to save for a divorce order, but money is tight. Hard to live like this.
Yeah. So, and I don't know what state you're in, Sherry, but I think, first of all, that's interesting, that comment. It's not the first time I've heard my husband told me he would blah, blah, blah before he gives me a dime of his pension, his money, his this, his whatever.
But it's not up to them. They'll still get hit with it.
Right. So also, like, what I would say is, I don't know where you are, but a lot of places have like complimentary legal services, or they're going to put a link if you want to have like a sidebar discussion, we can connect. But it, like Dina said, it's not always up to them, right? But they'll tell you.
They'll threaten it.
Yes.
Girl, to threaten it.
Oh, yes.
That is why I think these conversations are important to have, because I feel like, there's more and more statistics coming out. Women are more educated than they've ever been in the history of time. And more women are choosing to go and live on their own or get divorced or seeking divorce now more than ever. And I think that comes to education. I think it comes to confidence. And so hopefully, in some parts of this will feel, helpful to you no matter where you are. Whether you're still married, I think it's still important to do this planning and have these conversations with spouses. Because I do feel like there's a certain amount of financial planning that we have to do. We have to pay this bill. We have to keep our electric on. There's certain have tos. But then you kind of hit this wall where you're like, I should have a will and I should do this, but my kids got baseball and I have this and there's a wedding and I feel like we just get stuck sometimes. So, this is just a journey that I've been on personally. And I know Michelle is on, and all of us are on in some capacity. So hopefully that this will be helpful to you. I'm a single mom with 3 kids, 2 of them with special needs. I worry every day about what will happen to them financially and otherwise after I pass. So Kim, we're going to be talking about this in a future episode. So be sure to stay with us for those. But we have a lot of parents here that follow us that may have children with special needs. We also have people that are preparing for college. Like we had the 529 and I told Michelle, she's like, "Oh, you guys had 529s." I'm like, it paid for the first half of the first semester. Like that's it. It wasn't, maybe we started too late. Maybe we didn't put enough in it. It was all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but it definitely, I feel like when it first came out, it was like, oh, this will be a great program for your kids. I'm like, well, if they want 2 books and a half of a place to live for half of a semester.
One
then
place.
Yes,
it's the cost of college has gotten so expensive too. So, but I what you were saying about like it's not just relative to single women, because even if you're happily married, then you could be facing we outlive men most of the time, right? Mm-hmm. So at some point in your life, whether you want to or not, as a woman, there's a high probability of making financial decisions for yourself or for other people, like your parents, even if you have your spouse there. And then it becomes, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, how do you live your life and then also take care of your aging parents and your, college age kids, right? And then you're in between the two. So planning for that. And what if you have a parent, like my daughter says to me, I'll put you in a home. And I don't think she's talking about her home. I'm like, who's home?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I used to make fun of my mom and dad. My dad worked for the state, so he had a really good pension. And my mom was like a stay-at-home mom, worked like a couple part-time jobs like I, so didn't have much of a pension. And they were, I don't know if she was fighting with him one day, but all I remember is I was saying, you better be nice because he is going to be in a really nice home and you're not. You will be down the street in a different facility than dad because dad will be taken care of.
Yeah.
But it's all of that. Kelly just said, can I have a separate will for my husband? We don't always agree. LOL.
You don't always agree? That's weird.
Really, Kelly?
So everyone gets a separate will. Regardless, then usually they mirror each other because
I was going to say, what if they negate each other?
So the laws of your state could potentially supersede that. So it depends. Like you can't just like disinherit your spouse depending on where you live, because jointly like community property versus non-community property. Are you? Is it assumed that like like
if we were married and Tara is our kid, and I say I'm going to give Tara everything. That she gets everything.
So depending,
and then your will said, no, Tara gets half. I'm going to donate the other half.
Well, that's okay because we would both have to die at the same time for that to conflict. Really, right?
I don't know.
Well, if you die,
so if I die, do you get everything, or does it?
Well, did you give it to Tara? Yeah. Why do you like Tara better than me?
No, we're married in this scenario.
Okay. Sorry.
I messed it up. There's too many ifs.
So essentially, let's just say that were the case. If Tara is a minor child, I'd be like, it doesn't matter. Tara's custodian. I'm gonna take our money.
But
back.
she's really mouthy as a teenager, just as a side note. I'm like kidding. Tara's like I am.
She's mouthy as an adult.
What? I've been only married 2.5 years and brokenhearted. I still have to pay his car flipping insurance, and he makes $57,000 and I make $24,000.
Girl, sounds like my life. So if it sounds like you're probably you're like separated or somewhere in there. So I would say it again depends on the status quo. If you were paying the car insurance before. But eventually that will come to an end. And you need a non-stupid lawyer to make sure that maybe you could get that, accelerated.
So Donna's on TikTok. Is it true that even after divorce, you can get part of your ex-husband's Social Security?
Yes.
We had a big discussion about this. But you have to be married for a certain amount of time?
10 years. And you can't get remarried before you're 60. If you want to get remarried. So you can't get remarried before you're 60 or you don't get that.
So if you get remarried after 60, then you'd still get it?
I think so. Wait, is that the?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'll confirm that for our next episode, and I should know that off the back of my hand. But my midlife menopause brain fog.
I was gonna blame drinking.
The only time I've ever been, I'm a little better now, but the only time I've ever been live on Facebook or TikTok is accidentally in the background of my daughter's videos.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Have you ever done TV stuff before?
Not for public viewing.
They were special videos.
No, I haven't.
No, you're doing a great job.
I've done some speaking live, but I can't see myself talking.
Oh
Here,
yeah, no. You're doing a great job. Thanks. You know what I think is so funny is that the things that are in your mind that you just think are normal are like super helpful to everyone that's listening.
Right.
No one ever says that about me. Nobody was like, what's super helpful is when Tina says, no.
People start their day with you.
They do, but it's not. I'm not changing lives. I'm not going to save your pension. Let me put it to that way.
Do we disagree? Is she not changing
Listen,
your life?
that was just, I can make you laugh.
You broke your leg for these people.
I did, for a flag. Will you be able to put all these episodes with Finance Michelle so in one spot so we can refer back? Probably not, Mary, because we're not that smart. Maybe I can get Steph to put them together and maybe put them on YouTube when we're done. We can maybe try that. My ex was cheap, paid my lawyer from savings. We kept our own 401k. I refused to take a dime from him, separated and divorced in 5 months, split the house, sell, and that was it. Julie, that's impressive.
It's very un-American of you, but no, I actually hold a lot of like space for that in the terms of like respect and honor that. I wish that I would see more divorces that go like that, because when you get through it, on the other side, it's hard enough on everyone. Yeah. You're kind of like, that was so dumb. Like, what were you fighting about? But when you're in it, it's very emotional, and
it is.
Money is emotional.
Yes, it is, especially when you don't have it. Less emotional when you have, maybe more emotional. I don't know. I've seen rich people fight. And that's not pretty. All right, here's Alejandra's question. So my ex-husband can no longer take my pension since he's already married. I don't think that's true. What we were talking about earlier, Alejandra, was Social Security.
Right.
Pension is different. Am I right?
Correct. And that would be decided usually at the time you get divorced. And if your divorce decree says that you get pension, so for example, you get pension, right? Mm-hmm. So same thing. So if you got remarried, do you still get pension?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because it's what's written in the divorce decree.
Yeah, sure. Whatever Michelle said. It's very confusing. And just so you know, Alejandra, all the questions that everyone's asking are the same questions I was asking. My husband's dad was a deadbeat dad. Hubby said from the moment we had our daughter, he would always provide for her. We are still married 30 years later. I think that's lovely.
I love that. Yeah.
Do you have to be legally married to get spouse alimony? As I'm common law married and we've been together 15 years, but we tell everyone we're married, or if anything, God forbid, happens to either of us, are we?
That's a great question. I would be more concerned, or as concerned, not just about alimony, like the separation part. It's please don't misinterpret me. I'm not saying go out and get married, but Social Security, right? So common law, you're not recognized as a spouse, generally speaking. So, and then alimony, depending on your common law, is less and less recognized anymore than it used to be. So a check into the laws of your state, and we could have a separate conversation about that. But a lot of times the answer is no. It's just, if you're not even on the mortgage, you might not get anything. Yeah.
And it's so funny because at the age we are, like, you think 50 plus, like, do we need to get remarried? Like, what's the point? But like, I feel like the systems are set up to benefit getting people who are married.
100%. Think about it. From your taxes to your car insurance, everything, to like people having these couple dinners and not inviting you.
Or when they have those 2-for-1 meals where you can be like, oh, you can get this. And you're like, but it's just meat. Oh, sorry.
Right.
You're just going to have a lot of extra food. Whatever. All right. So there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of questions in here. I wish we can get to all of them, and we will eventually. But I do want to get to your seven.
Back to the sandwich.
Yes,
okay.
Sandwich. So tell us some of them.
So you all hit on most of them. So the cost of aging parents' care, right? So one thing that people don't realize is that when you talk about like nursing homes and assisted livings, your health insurance doesn't usually pay for that 99% of the time. So your health insurance will pay for you to go into your parents or whoever to go into rehab. This is New Jersey. First 100 days, once you plateau, they make a decision. You're going home so that you can scooter your mom around with you, right? Or whatever, take mama everywhere you go. Or you go into assisted living. That's not paid for by your health insurance.
So that's why there was an influx of like long-term care insurance that was kind of kicking in.
Right. Okay. Which is also something that's, the younger you are when you buy it, the more affordable it is, the older, because, you're transferring the rest of the insurance company. And if they're like, oh, you're looking kind of old, and they make you take all these tests, like they call you and they give you words I'm like, I wouldn't even
What?
pass that. Oh, yes. They'll be like
to check.
we're going to give you 5 words. It's usually like 20 words. And you have to, because clients will call me like, I think I passed. I'm like, well, it's not pass or fail. You're going to get insurance or you're not. But yes, cognitive. They test your cognitive. I know. It wouldn't be good for me right now. I would be like,
oh my gosh.
Hold on.
Like,
Oh, I
what was
forgot
the
you're on
word?
the
What's
phone.
my name?
right. So, but the cost
Wow.
of long-term care can be expensive because
Yeah.
because the cost of, an assisted living facility in New Jersey can be $10,000 or $12,000 a month. Who's going to pay for that? So it's either parents are going to use their resources, or oftentimes children, let's say we have the desire to care for our parents at home, but we can't, right? Either it's unsafe or mom or dad needs a level of care that we can't provide at home. They have to go into assisted living. Maybe there's not a pension, right? Maybe there's someone that was self-employed. They didn't have a pension or they work for a company that didn't have a pension. They have Social Security. Who's funding the rest of that? And sometimes we see children chipping in to pay for their parents' care. So if you're in the sandwich generation, you could have college expenses and the cost of aging parents as well. And then you at the same simultaneously, a lot of people generationally, you have educational expenses. You still have,
I do.
right?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Happening at the same time.
Yeah. Let's see if there were questions in there. My mother had a long-term care policy. Best decision she ever made. Yeah, it paid for help and then a nursing home for 6 months, right?
Wow.
So think about that. Could have been 60 to 80 grand that paid for.
Yeah.
So it is a good decision. So those are all things you want to evaluate through that planning process, right? Does it make sense? Am I insurable? Can I afford it?
Yeah.
So,
the longer you wait, the more expensive it is. Yeah.
That's absolutely
Doesn't
correct.
Medicare cover assisted living? So
Medicare will cover if you're in usually like a temporary stay. There's Medicaid in New Jersey. So there's Medicare and Medicaid. Medicaid will cover, but remember, Medicaid is an entitlement program that was basically created for people who need it. So in order to need it, you have to exhaust your resources first.
And then we were talking about the 5-year look back, which we're going to talk about on another day.
Correct.
But it's a lot. All
Yes.
right. Childcare education costs. It's kind of
reduced work hours.
Being
pulled in different directions. Opportunity costs.
What's that mean?
Well, like let's say you're have to take care of your mom and you can't. Can you go and do all of your stand-ups and become the rising, continuing star?
As I sit here with a bum leg and a scooter next to me.
You're a victim of your own creation.
I am.
You're lucky your kids have no kids, or you would be putting them in a sandwich right now.
No, that's true.
Yeah. Supporting 2 households, right? So let's say you do lose a parent and mom or dad wants to stay home and be independent, but they don't have enough income to do so. Let's say it's mom. Let's say there's no pension. Dad passed away and the pension didn't continue, but mom wants to stay in her house. Are you going to tell mom no, or are you going to help her pay for it? Right. So
I don't know. What's the answer? What are we supposed to do?
I don't know.
Is there a right answer?
What would everyone do if your mom was? Let's just say it's your mom. Okay, wants to stay at home, but financially speaking, she's a little short every month to pay the taxes and all the bills. Do you take her to your house, or do you start giving your mom an allowance?
Is she going to bring all the beans with her? She has a lot of beans at her house. Michelle,
cans.
Anything, bags of beans. All she wants to do is take every recipe and turn it into a recipe. You could be doing chicken parm. She'll turn into bean parm. And you'll be like, oh, this will be so good. And then she'll put beans on it. And you'll be like,
only
no.
did that with asparagus.
Nope.
That's weird.
Well, she does love asparagus.
There was just an asparagus festival this weekend.
I know. Karen Rogers was covering it.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
One of my clients was was part of it, and I was like, "What is that a thing?"
You
can get an asparagus cupcake, and I was like, "That doesn't seem right." It's like a popcorn jelly bean.
Yeah, no, they had moon pie festival. I'm like, that I would go to. You know what a moon pie is?
I do.
Yeah,
but I'm with that.
And they have a moon pie queen. Do you think they had an asparagus queen?
I was like a moon pie queen at the beginning of my divorce. I could have won that in a heartbeat.
It's me.
Yes.
And I have the extra 20 pounds to prove it.
Yes. And I have marshmallow in my hair.
I would pay. I would take on a second job if I had to. She passed away and dad had money, but chose to live with us. Okay. Yeah. I think it comes down to the person, because I also feel like for a lot of people, especially if a spouse has passed, they don't want to live on their own. They've lived with somebody most of the time. And so
But what if they want to? Or what if it's better for your relationship if they do? And also because I do think it helps them maintain their independence for a while, right? So they can have their beans and do what they want to do.
We went to an elder care attorney for my mom who helped us protect the money she had from going into a nursing home. We did that 6 years before she actually went into a facility.
Right. So that's like the 5-year look back. You don't want to wait until something happens. It's all about planning for the future, right? And anticipating.
When my mom wanted to split the cost to her rent because there was no break for seniors. Yeah.
See, that's, and not everyone can do that. Some people are an only child or they don't have the resources, right?
Yeah.
But it's still something that's a decision or a struggle for the sandwich generation to have to work through. And then we've seen, I've had couples in my office where we're planning for this. And one says, think about a married couple. I don't want our money going to your mom, or I do, or vice versa. I mean, if you're married, that's another layer of like your spouse has to be agreeable to that, especially if it causes a disruption to your own savings plan.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Charlene said my savings was wiped out helping my dad to stay at home when he got sick, and the next nightmare began.
This happens often.
Yeah. It also comes to your situation. I literally cannot move my mom into my home, nor can I move into hers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they need, like we talked about, like, this is a great scooter environment. Right
yes,
now, right?
It is. I scoot real quick around here.
There's a lot that can happen around here. So I think that you're not always in a situation where you can bring your parents to where you are, right? Whether it's, like my mom, she can't, like when she watches my kids, if I go somewhere, when I get home, she's in the driveway, like, because she's not used to the chaos. I have 3 dogs, 2 kids, right? And then the other side of it is all these things that we're talking about right now is the reason why we should all be preparing. Because we're going to be someone's burden one day. Isn't that rude?
Sure, I don't like to call myself a burden to my kids. I like
to
believe
one
that
of them out here and
no, Michelle, don't do that.
If your scooter's a burden. Have you ran over anyone's foot yet?
Mostly the dogs. The dogs aren't even attempting. I'll come at them with a full scooter and they stare at me. I'm like, do you not understand? I'm going through you in about a minute.
I think I was here for 5 minutes when she called her son's name 17 times. Just kidding, 3 times. But I was like, we should get her a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Why should you have to call someone's name? No, like ding ding.
So listen, everyone, that is the end of our hour. But Michelle is going to be here with us doing Tip Tuesday, talking about lots of different financial questions. I think I am so ready to be my kid's burden.
I know. And the one above it, I tell my son I'm his blessing. I'm using that tonight, girl. Can't wait.
So hopefully this has been great for you to even start conversations in your own homes, whether that conversation is with yourself, like, girl, get it together. I know sexy producer Michelle has been putting some of the information into the chat. If you would like to follow up with Michelle or her team, if you have questions, if there are certain things you'd like for us to discuss here, you can always email us at customerservice@OneFunnyMother, and we'll have Wendy send us those. But hopefully you found this to be fruitful. Michelle, you did a great job. How do you feel?
I feel great.
You're going to be like a Facebook pro by the time this is over.
Oh, I thought I only was of posting pictures of my kids that they yell at me for.
Yeah. Now they'll be like, Mom, you're famous.
Yeah.
I doubt that they'll say
it wouldn't matter. They still don't like me.
But
happy birthday, Jane. I just saw, she said this hour flew by. This hour did flow by.
It did. It does.
Thank you for having me.
When it's a good show, then it flies by. So if somebody goes, oh, this show took forever, then we'll have to move to a different topic.
No, I love it. I love the camaraderie of seeing that there's so many people facing the same things.
There are.
Yeah.
There are. And I think that was, I think that probably the thing that has helped me the most in my career has been being able to talk about the things that are going on in my life, either with a funny slant or trying to at least have these conversations. I know when we talked about a lot about anxiety with my daughter, you started to find out there were so many other people that had kids with similar issues that either had tips or needed to hear that somebody else was having them. And I think that, like you were saying earlier, when it comes to finances, there's just the weird thing about it. And so, we're not going to be having like full conversations about here's my number. What's your number? It's not that. It's really more about, giving you some information to maybe point you in the great direction to either follow up with Michelle, follow up with people in your communities, so that you can have, can we change her name to Finance Michelle? Yes, that's her name. That's what it says on the screen.
I was going to make a bad joke. This is
Go ahead. We love
safe
bad
space
jokes.
for bad
Yeah,
jokes.
we love those.
I was going to say, I kept my maiden name when I got married. And otherwise, I would change my full name because I'm up for name changing. I'm in that era right now.
So Nocito is your maiden name.
Yes.
Okay. Well, look, half your battle is done. Yeah, it was weird because I was like, should I not be Blizzard anymore? I thought about it.
That's a great last name.
I know, it's
what
weird.
What was your maiden name?
My maiden name is Kerbin with a Q. It looks like Karubin.
That probably got slaughtered a lot.
It did. It never, but nobody ever said it right. But like so much of my work.
But do you like Blizzard?
I don't mind it. I think that there was definitely a time. I think there's definitely a time in a divorce where you just want to turn your back on everything associated with it. And so there was just a time where I think everybody has to decide if they want to go back. I know a lot of people will keep it because their kids have the same name and whatever.
My kids are used to not having the same name.
Yeah. So,
but Blizzard. If it was a name like really long or tough, but I feel like that. If I read it, I'm keeping the name.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
I mean, it flows.
It flows. It's a good. I hyphenated my name the first marriage. Kept my maiden name this time. Yeah. You're once a Paglione, always a Paglione.
Right. Well, that was the thing. It was very like, no offense, but it was very like German. I didn't feel like it fit. Plus, I was 29 when I got married. For 29 years, I had been this person. And my dad died when I was little. Was my connection to him, and I just Nocito. Rhymes with Dorito. Come on.
Come on now.
Do you know how many times I got called Michelle Dorito growing up? I couldn't give that up.
Really? That's so funny.
Yes.
I know. 10 years after divorce, my sister went back to her maiden name. Yeah, I feel like everybody's got to do that in whatever timeline.
Are you going to change your name back?
I don't think so. I think it would be.
Can we have a poll with
we
the
could
next
do
show?
a poll. We could do a poll. It would just be
vote?
such a pain. It would be. But I could like change my legal name and like
would
still
you
be
Would you ever change your name again?
Like if I got married
if you got
again,
a new boo, would you change your name?
Like I think that professionally I would just always be Dina Blizzard.
Right.
And like on I know people that do that, like on a personal side,
right?
Like be this other person, So
this is the great part about evolution and aging, and you get to be whoever you want.
Yeah, you're like, who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. I'm not sure. But it would be a lot. I know a guy. He had like he was a comedian and he had a real funny last name. It had some type of sexual innuendo to it.
Like butts?
Yeah, exactly. And it might have been it. And he changed that's why we like you. He changed his name. But the one he changed it to was just as bad.
Oh.
He was like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go. He's like,
and then he changed his name back?
He changed, because I think it was like a stage name that he made, but it wasn't good. And then he went back to his real name, but that wasn't good either. And I was just like, why don't you just change it to Smith or something?
Or just change it. Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny.
Change it to something different altogether. Like just go.
Yeah.
Or just go Madonna. And just
there you go. Just be one name. Yeah. It doesn't have the same ring.
We could just make you Dina.
I know. But there's nobody ever famous and good named Dina.
Yet.
You know who the only famous Dina is?
You?
You're too young. No. You're too young. It was Lindsay Lohan's mom.
She's not famous.
Kooky Pants. Yeah, Kooky Pants.
You're more famous than her.
No, I'm not. You sound like my mom. Tina, you're so famous.
It's true.
You and my grandma. All
right.
Oh, wait, look. We got to do this puzzle on TikTok. You see this?
Sexy producer Michelle, I'd like to put a request that we immediately just become Dina.
Just Dina.
With a capital D.
Just call it like just what was his name? Just Jack. Yeah, just like that. So anyway, listen, everybody, that's our show for today. Let's hear it for Michelle. Finance Michelle.
And Dina B. I like that.
And Dina B. And we'll have Tipsy Tuesday tonight, so feel free to join us there. No matter how your day goes, we'll be ending it with a nice drink. It'll be lovely. And that's it. So like Judy from Saskatoon and Good Time Andrew say, do something nice for yourself, for others today. And have a great day and a blessed day. And we'll see you all tonight. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed today's morning show, make sure to follow us for more One Funny Mother content.
Okay, all right. Morse code is tapping.
And check out OneFunnyMotherStore.com for great new inappropriate swag. And for more exclusive content, consider becoming a supporter.
She got a bad leg.
Thanks again, and we'll see you tomorrow.